Hello, my radiant Leo. Let me ask you this. What if I told you the biggest money of your life is already on its way to you, and you have just 3 days to align with it? Yes, I mean the biggest. Not a small gain. Not a lucky break. I'm talking about a divine shift that could change the way you live, love, earn, and lead, forever. If you found your way to this video, it's not by chance. It's destiny. This is eternal mindfulness, and today's horoscope is a powerful, deep reading crafted just for you, Leo. The universe has something major to reveal, and if you've been feeling a strange tension in the air, a silent excitement in your chest, like something is coming, but you don't know what yet, then this message is yours. You may have noticed repeating numbers like 111, 222, or even 1010 showing up around you. These are not coincidences. They are signs. Proof that your energy field is shifting and preparing for something immense, especially in your financial and personal power sectors. And Leo, let's be honest, you were never meant to live small. You were born to rise. Born to receive big. Born to walk into rooms and change the frequency. So why have you been doubting yourself? Why have you been dimming your own fire just to be more digestible? Not anymore. Over the next 3 days, the energy around you is going to accelerate, fast. Tarot, astrology, numerology, even your own intuition, they're all converging to hand you the key to a very real, very tangible breakthrough. This video isn't about fluff. It's about realignment. It's a call to step fully into your power and receive what's already yours. So before we dive deep, let me take a moment to say this from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Thank you for being here, for watching, liking, subscribing, and for being a part of this growing circle of awakened minds. Every single comment, every heart, every share, it fuels this channel, it blesses this space, and it allows us to keep sending messages like this one exactly when you need them most. You didn't click on this video. This video found you. Because the universe is ready to show you that your next chapter will be written in gold, and Leo, you are the one holding the pen. So take a breath. Place your hand over your heart. And tell me in the comments, what angel number just flashed in your mind? Type it below, it's not random. It's a divine clue just for you. And trust me, my powerful Leo. You'll want to stay until the very end of this message, because what the cosmos is about to reveal might just change everything. When the heart begins to soften, when the mind pauses before reacting, and when the body no longer clenches in silent resistance, something profound begins to unfold within you. You are not just healing, you are remembering. You are remembering the truth that your worth has never been tied to your performance, your productivity, or your ability to please. This moment in time, this energetic space opening in early May, is less about doing and more about releasing. Letting go, not of your dreams, but of the illusion that you must fight for them through tension, comparison, or self-denial. You see, so much of our internal burden doesn't come from the weight of the world itself. It comes from the stories we carry, the labels we've accepted, the roles we've taken on out of habit or survival. Maybe you've spent years trying to prove something, that you are strong enough, capable enough, deserving enough. And while your courage has brought you far, there comes a moment, like this one, when you're invited to see that you don't need to prove anything anymore. The Justice card in this moment isn't just about external fairness. It's a symbol of inner realignment, a subtle yet powerful reminder that the universe isn't operating on the same timeline or measurement as human judgment. What may have seemed unfair in the past is now finding balance, not because others are changing, but because you are. You are no longer resonating with the same expectations. You are no longer tied to who you were when the wound was first formed. And then comes the Star, a card so gentle, yet luminous. It whispers that your healing doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't need to be dramatic or performative. Sometimes, healing looks like choosing not to respond when provoked. Sometimes it's choosing rest over hustle. Sometimes it's giving yourself permission to feel joy without guilt. The Star asks, can you soften into your truth? Can you believe that just your presence, unguarded and real, is enough? The Emperor then steps forward, not as a symbol of control, but of inner sovereignty. This isn't about power over others, it's about power over your own energy. It's the realization that you no longer have to seek approval in order to feel real. You're not waiting for applause. You are rooted now in something deeper. Just like a mountain holds its shape regardless of the weather, you are learning to hold your essence regardless of the noise around you. Choosing wisdom over reaction doesn't mean being passive. It means cultivating clarity before action. It means stepping away from the entanglements of ego battles and instead asking, what would peace do right now? What would a clear, compassionate heart choose, not out of fear, but out of alignment? Sometimes the most courageous thing you can do is nothing at all. Not because you're weak, but because you're centered. Because you've come to understand that true freedom is not escaping conflict, but rising above it. Not denying pain, but no longer letting it define your path. And when envy or past hurt whispers to you, tempting you to shrink, to lash out, or to prove yourself all over again, remember this: a lion doesn't need to roar to remind the jungle of who it is. The very act of not reacting can be the most powerful signal of your healing. It means you've reclaimed your energy. And that is where your light becomes undeniable, not because it shouts, but because it simply shines. When the soil has been nourished with patience, discipline, and intention, there comes a time when we stop digging and simply allow the roots to take hold. That is where you are now. The energy of this period suggests that something you've been tending, whether a dream, a business idea, a financial plan, or a personal transformation, is beginning to surface. Not dramatically. Not all at once. But with quiet certainty. Like the very first shoot breaking through the earth, your effort is starting to materialize into form. The message of the Seven of Pentacles is not just about patience, but about trust. Trust in the invisible phases of growth. Trust that your commitment, even when results felt far away, was never wasted. Just as a tree does not grow by being tugged on, neither does wealth, success, or well-being respond to force. They respond to consistency, to grounded awareness, and to an inner knowing that you're already aligned with the outcome you seek. The Ten of Pentacles speaks to a deeper kind of richness, one that isn't measured only in bank balances or material gains, but in stability, longevity, and the quiet pride of building something that lasts. This isn't quick money. This is legacy. What you're creating now may not only benefit you but also those connected to your energy, family, clients, communities. And that's what makes this period so sacred. If you've been holding back, waiting for the perfect time to write that book, launch that offering, start saving or investing, then consider this your sign. It's time. But let this growth be supported by structure. The Emperor shows us that freedom comes not from avoidance, but from clarity. In the same way a river needs its banks to flow with power, your financial life needs clear systems, budgets, boundaries, and intentional action. Ask yourself gently, am I making money choices that serve my peace, or ones that come from fear and impulse? Reframe budgeting as an act of empowerment, not limitation. When you tell your money where to go, you're no longer ruled by it, you become the steward of your own abundance. And none of this expansion is possible without tending to the vessel through which you experience it all, your body. Energy doesn't move through tension, it stagnates there. If you've been waking up tired, struggling to focus, or ignoring small physical discomforts, this is a moment to pause. Not with panic, but with presence. The body, like the seasons, speaks in rhythm. And ignoring its quiet requests, rest, nourishment, stillness, will only delay the flow you've worked so hard to create. There is a quiet wisdom in daily rituals. A morning walk under soft sunlight. A cup of warm tea taken slowly, without distraction. A breath, placed intentionally in the belly. These small moments are not separate from your goals, they are the foundation of your goals. Just as the flame cannot burn bright without the oil, your vision cannot manifest through exhaustion. You don't have to strive to deserve wellness. You don't have to push to earn rest. Care is not a reward for performance, it's a responsibility you carry toward yourself. Because when you are well, everything you touch becomes brighter. Your work becomes more intentional. Your finances become more meaningful. And your presence becomes medicine. The invitation here is to tend, not control. To plan, but not grasp. To act, and also to rest. This is not the time for frantic movement. It is the time for wise momentum, supported by structure, fueled by purpose, and sustained by care. Love, for someone with Leo energy, is rarely casual. You don't just connect, you illuminate. When you love, it's all in. But this full-hearted approach can sometimes leave you exposed, especially when the care you offer isn't returned with the same sincerity or depth. That's why this period asks you to look deeper into the quality of your connections, not how bright they appear on the outside, but how steady they feel when no one's watching. It's about letting go of the illusion that love must always be grand or dramatic, and instead choosing to value what is stable, reciprocal, and rooted in truth. The Lover's card here is not just about romance, it's about alignment. It's the reminder that real love begins with the self, and it matures when two people are grounded in who they are individually, so that togetherness becomes a choice, not a dependency. This kind of connection doesn't flourish through clinging, but through allowing space, room for individual growth, for stillness, for differences to breathe. In a world that often romanticizes attachment, it's a radical act to say, I love you enough to let you be fully you. Then, the Queen of Pentacles enters the picture, inviting you to reimagine intimacy through care. Not flashy gestures or big declarations, but small, nourishing acts, cooking together, holding space without fixing, walking silently side by side under fading light. These are the moments that quietly build a life. Whether you're in a relationship or navigating singlehood, You are being asked to anchor love in presence, not performance. For those who are single, this time is especially important to listen to the subtle cues your body and intuition are sending. If something feels off, even if the surface looks beautiful, pause. Trust doesn't grow from intensity, it grows from consistency. Avoid entanglements that pull you into confusion or patterns that mirror past wounding. There is no urgency in real love. When it's aligned, it doesn't rush you. It meets you where you are and asks nothing but honesty in return. Within the family space, this is a chance to redefine what it means to care without carrying. You can love your family deeply and still say no. You can offer support and still draw boundaries. True compassion never demands self-sacrifice that leads to resentment. In fact, part of true maturity is realizing that you are not responsible for managing another's emotional landscape. Your role is to be present, not to absorb. Just like the sun rises and sets with unwavering rhythm, Leo energy is at its best when it trusts in its own consistency. You don't need to shine constantly to be loved. And you don't need to stay in relationships, romantic or familial, that drain your life force just to maintain peace. Let go of the need to be understood by everyone. Let go of the pressure to fix everything. Some things are not meant to be solved, they are meant to be witnessed with clarity and kindness. When love is real, it asks for presence, not perfection. And when you bring your whole self, wounds and all, to your relationships without expectation, you begin to attract people who do the same. That's where connection becomes sacred. That's where family transforms from a duty into a choice. That's where love becomes not something you chase, but something you become. Because at the end of the day, Leo, love is not what validates your worth. It is what reflects it. And when you love with both strength and softness, you don't just find connection, you create it. Quietly. Powerfully. Lastingly. After tending to the inner soil of your emotions, your goals, and your relationships, you now arrive at a quieter, more refined frequency, the level of alignment. This is where energy becomes intentional. And in this space, even the simplest signs can carry profound meaning. When numbers begin to repeat around you, when certain colors call your attention more than usual, it's not mere coincidence. It's resonance. It's your inner and outer worlds mirroring each other, guiding you toward clarity without words. The appearance of the number 1 is a subtle awakening. It speaks not only of a new beginning, but of your place as the beginning. It is the number of origination, leadership, self-realization. Not dominance over others, but presence within yourself. It reminds you that you are not waiting for permission to start again. The path has already been clearing under your feet, you only need to take the first step. And that step doesn't have to be grand. Sometimes, it's as simple as saying yes to your own vision before anyone else can see it. Then comes the number 2, like the breath after the heartbeat. It is the meeting point. The joining of self and other, of intention and manifestation, of effort and surrender. While 1 reminds you of your power, 2 brings the grace of connection. It teaches that balance is not something to strive for, but something to remember. Just as the moon reflects the light of the sun without competing with it, you, too, can shine in harmony with others, not by dimming, but by synchronizing. Together, these numbers create a rhythm, action followed by reflection. expression balanced with awareness. And when you notice them, when you feel their vibration ripple through your awareness, it's a quiet invitation to walk in step with the energy that's already supporting you. You're not being asked to chase. You're being asked to align. Soft pink becomes your guiding color now, not as a decoration, but as an energy field. This hue carries the essence of tenderness, of compassion that doesn't collapse, of love that doesn't demand. Surrounding yourself with it, wearing it, or simply visualizing it during still moments can gently open the heart and calm the inner noise. When the world feels too sharp, too fast, pink softens the edges and reminds you that gentleness is a kind of strength. As you work with the law of attraction during these days, don't force your manifestations. Instead, return to your breath. Place your hand over your heart and speak truth into your body, not as a command, but as a remembering. I am worthy of love, of peace, of abundance. Not because I've earned it, but because I've always been part of it. These aren't affirmations to convince yourself of something. They are reminders that bring you back into resonance with the life you've quietly been building all along. And as the World card suggests, something is completing. A pattern, a cycle, maybe even a way of seeing yourself. But this isn't the kind of ending that asks for grief. It's the kind that feels like exhaling after holding your breath. It's the full circle moment where you see that nothing was wasted, not the delays, not the detours, not even the doubts. All of it brought you here. And you don't have to carry the weight forward. You've already gathered the wisdom. Now all that's left is to walk lightly, with trust, with balance, and with a heart wide enough to receive everything that's already reaching for you. Sometimes, clarity doesn't come all at once, it arrives in small sparks. Like the first light before dawn or the subtle pull of an idea that refuses to let go. That's the energy the Ace of Wands brings to you now. It doesn't demand a perfect plan. It doesn't wait for external validation. It simply ignites. When inspiration knocks, it rarely shouts. It whispers. And what you do with that whisper is up to you. If there's a vision in your heart or a project you've been sitting on, this is your moment to move, not with pressure, but with purpose. And as you take that step, you're reminded by the Nine of Cups that what you've been longing for is not far off. This card doesn't just promise fulfillment, it teaches embodiment. It asks you to live now as though your prayer has already been answered. Because what we are grateful for, we draw closer. Gratitude isn't passive. It's an active vibration. It shifts your posture, softens your voice, changes the way you meet the world. To feel it before the outcome arrives is to live as if you're already in harmony with your future. And from that place, everything starts to move. But motion without awareness can become chaos. That's where the Knight of Swords reminds us that speed is not the same as alignment. This energy pushes forward with intensity, with focus, but without the steady breath of mindfulness, it can burn out just as quickly as it began. So before you charge ahead, pause. Gather your clarity. Ask yourself, am I acting from vision or from urgency? Because when you wait for inner coherence before moving, your actions become powerful instead of impulsive. Like the practiced archer who doesn't release the arrow in haste, but waits for stillness to become precision. And in between all this effort and momentum comes a quieter voice, one that belongs to the Two of Pentacles. This card doesn't shout for attention, but it speaks to something vital: balance. In a world that glorifies constant doing, there is deep wisdom in remembering how to rest, how to listen, how to integrate. Life isn't a straight line of output, it's a rhythm, like breath. And just as the body needs both inhalation and exhalation, your energy needs both movement and pause. Without balance, even your highest intentions can become draining. But with it, even the busiest day can feel aligned. Then, the Queen of Pentacles brings it home. She reminds you that success isn't just measured in outcomes, but in how you hold yourself while reaching for them. She teaches that taking care of your space, your body, your money, these are not side tasks. They are sacred responsibilities. The ground beneath your dreams must be stable. You're not just building goals, you're building a life. And every choice that nourishes you, nutritious food, meaningful routines, small joys, becomes part of your foundation. Care is not indulgence. It's discipline with a gentle face. All of these messages together point to a deeper kind of alignment. Not one based on perfect circumstances, but on attunement, between intention and action, between rest and drive, between your outer goals and your inner truth. You don't have to force outcomes. You just have to become the version of yourself that those outcomes naturally move toward. In doing so, you stop chasing and start magnetizing. You stop asking when it will happen and start realizing, it's already happening, one quiet, intentional step at a time. So here you are, Leo, standing at the edge of something beautifully unknown. And yet, not unfamiliar. Because deep down, you've always known you were meant for more. Not because you had to prove it, but because you were born with a light that was never meant to be hidden. You don't need permission to step into that light. You don't need anyone to validate what your heart already knows. The world doesn't get brighter when you shrink to fit into it. It expands when you rise. Over the past few minutes, we've explored the shifts happening within and around you. You've been reminded of your power, not the kind that roars to be heard, but the kind that flows quietly, confidently, through every choice you make. From the courage to begin again, to the stillness that allows your intuition to speak, to the discipline of nourishing your mind, your body, your space, each step has meaning. Each step is part of a greater unfolding. Now, the question is, what will you choose to do with what you've just remembered? Will you let this be another message you listen to and leave behind? Or will you carry it into the way you speak, the way you move, the way you allow abundance to meet you where you are? Imagine waking up tomorrow and making decisions not from fear, not from habit, but from the awareness that you are already worthy. Imagine walking into a room and knowing you don't have to chase anything, because everything aligned with your truth is already on its way. Can you let yourself live from that place? Can you trust that soft, persistent voice inside you more than the noise outside? Leo, this isn't about effort anymore. It's about alignment. It's about allowing. It's about remembering that you're not behind, you're not late, you're exactly where you need to be. From May 3rd to 5th, the energy around you is ripe with invitation. Not demand. Not pressure. Invitation. A quiet door is opening. Will you walk through it? If there's one thing I hope you carry with you from this moment forward, it's this: you were never meant to chase light. You are the light. And when you honor that, the universe doesn't just respond, it rearranges. So tell me now, what is one word, just one, that you want to call in, to receive, to embody in the days ahead? Is it abundance? Clarity? Peace? Freedom? Drop that word in the comments below. Let it be your declaration. Let it be your anchor. And if this message touched you, if something stirred in your chest or softened in your breath, please take a moment to like this video, to subscribe to Eternal Mindfulness, and to share this space with someone you care about. Your presence here is not just support, it's sacred. And it allows us to keep creating what this world truly needs: space for truth, space for healing, space for light. The universe is already moving on your behalf. The only thing left is for you to say yes.